let's hear it for team number 4095.
Team RoXI, they're right here in Milwaukee. JCPenney, Dark Chart Systems, Milwaukee School of Engineering, McCarter Machine, Oasis LLC, and Pius High School.
57 teams converged on the US Cellular Arena in downtown Milwaukee for the first robotics competition, Wisconsin Regional, and 2013's frisbee flinging, structure scaling game of Ultimate Ascent. Each team brought its own combination of resources, capabilities, and strategy, and would compete alongside and against each other in alliances that were different with every match. One of those teams was number 4095, Team RoXI out of Pius 11th High School, returning for their second year in this exciting three-day event. On their first day of setup, inspection, and practice, the team got the 77-pound robot fully assembled and functioning and had time for 2 mock rounds, during which they made 5 points worth of goal shots, which is 5 more than they made all last year. They also finally got to see the robot climb and hang off the lower pyramid rung for the first time ever. These successes, plus the energy in the arena, left them in high spirits by Thursday's end. Team RoXI would then compete in 10 qualifying matches over the next 2 days. Let's look now at how each one went down. The first match, not only for Team RoXI but for anybody at the competition, saw them score a 2-point middle height goal and, despite needing some time to get a sense for the robot's driving, enjoyed a 43-31 win over the other alliance. They then experimented with a strategy involving shooting while hanging from the pyramid. And while it proved promising on the practice field, it wouldn't translate into points by their second match, by which point it was clear that their shots had a tendency to hook to the left. They also suffered an injury to their shooter wheel guard, and the match would be lost 52-67. After that, the programmers snuck in some autonomous code that managed to score in that 15-second period when the robot operates without driver control, earning double points for a mid-height goal. Back in teleoperated mode, they've ended up fouling the other alliance by contacting one of their bots while it was touching their pyramid. But on the bright side, RoXI managed their first 10-point pyramid climb, making all the difference for a 5-point win. The fourth match opened with a head smack as they forgot to load their shooter with discs for autonomous shots. The difficulties in efficiently reloading their shooter were also becoming evident, and they discovered a need to correct motor drift that was slowly leaking climbing height. This match would be lost by their biggest margin in the competition. The fifth match opened with auto shots going too high and continued with RoXI ceding the offensive moves to the stronger shooters, focusing more on defense. They got on the pyramid again, but so did their opponent, number 876 Thunder Robotics, with a 30-point climb, and that match would be a loss as well. The sixth match joined Team RoXI with a pair of robots that needed both sides of the pyramid to effectively fire an autonomous, leaving them stuck with the middle with obstructed results. The biggest influence on the match's outcome was their ally, number 4212, the Techno Ferrets, which was designed to park at the feeding station and send 3-point shots clear across the playing field. RoXI chipped in at the end with a pyramid climb using only one of its 2 hooks for a grand alliance total of 147 points, a new record score that would hold well into the quarterfinals. In sharp contrast, the most frustrating match by far was number 7, when the shooter jammed up and locked up the program code, rendering the entire robot motionless and powerless to prevent a 3-point loss, even while being allied with number 111 Wildstang, a historically formidable team. Not the way they would have chosen to close out their field time on Friday. After some tweaks to the programming the next morning, the bug appeared to be gone by the 8th match, and the drive team seemed to be hitting their stride with the defensive maneuvers, giving the Blue Alliance a run for their money and getting in another climb. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to get the victory. The 9th match saw the most intense physical contact on the robot, even almost tipping over near the end. But they got on the pyramid with seconds to spare, but still scoring nowhere near enough points for their alliance to win. Things got interesting off the field preparing for their last qualifying match, during which they were teamed up with the 30-point climber number 4143 Mars Wars and the consistent shooter number 2202 Beast Robotics, as they collaborated on how to go up against number 4212 the Techno Ferrets, the full-court shooter with which RoXI enjoyed their previous victory. Some last-hour modifications by Team RoXI equipped their robot with a telescoping sail meant to rise up and deflect the Ferrets' discs. They wouldn't be able to climb, but a sacrifice of 10 points to stop 4212 from scoring 100 sounded like a fair trade. Immediately at the start of the match, the Ferrets and their allies worked to counter the new threat, occupying themselves with keeping RoXI out of the path of the far-flying frisbees and cutting into the points they could have scored. The gambit paid off, and the RoXI Beast Mars Wars Alliance won the last qualifying match of the day. A satisfying victory and proof of RoXI's ability to rally and adapt to constantly evolving competitive conditions. Unfortunately, they were not picked for an alliance to go into the elimination rounds. But after an intense regional competition run, winning 4 matches and scoring 66 points, that's 3 more victories and 66 more points than last year, Team RoXI has a lot to be proud of, and we can't wait to see what they might accomplish next year.